Arik Armstead has a foot injury. Kyle Shanahan would not disclose the extent of it. I guess we'll find out. But Arik Armstead had a foot injury last year that really wiped out most of his year, I guess half of his year. And when he did play, he wasn't particularly effective. This season, he's been extremely effective, especially recently. What do you make of the early news here?
Yeah, it's certainly worrisome because, I mean, we don't know what foot it is, but I'm pretty sure he had injuries in both feet last year. One of them being plantar fasciitis, which I'm gonna venture to guess that's probably what's happening again here. It's one of those things that certainly can come back pretty easily. A man that size with that much weight and tight cleats, these are things that can happen. If that's the case, it comes down to pain management. Last year, we know that the pain management kept him out for a few games. It sucks
And when he
because
played, he wasn't
and
that
when he
great. Sorry.
played, it wasn't great. You're right. It was not. I mean, he had 0 sacks last year, right?
Mhm.
And this year, he's playing really good football. Even early in the year when he wasn't getting the sacks, he was a big contributor. In fact, I would argue that the reason that Drake Jackson has multiple sacks in week 1 was because of Arik Armstead flushing the quarterback directly to him. So Arik Armstead's had a very, very good year. How will this either hinder him if he does play? Does it hinder him? Maybe it's completely unrelated, but I think injuries in your feet, ankles, knees, especially when they have been there in the past, are always a little bit concerning on somebody who's 30 plus years old and that size.
Absolutely. He has a history of this. It's serious. It wiped out his year last year. I'm wondering if he's going to play in this game. And if he doesn't, what does that mean for this matchup? Like, we're looking at the Eagles having a bunch of injuries, and what about Fletcher Cox and what about Lane Johnson? That's all true. But what about Arik Armstead? Let's say Armstead can't go. Then you would put, I'm thinking, Kinlaw in the starting lineup. So, I mean, all of a sudden, or maybe someone else, all of a sudden you're asking, can this team stop the run? I think part of the reason people might feel the Niners can stop the run, especially between the tackles, is Armstead. He's really tough to move. I don't
Yeah,
know. This is
absolutely.
big.
I mean, let's not forget that the 49ers just a couple years ago had him as a defensive end. As
Mhm.
soon as they kicked him inside, it was an immediate difference. Now, there was a question of, okay, well, you're paying him defensive end money, and now he's a defensive tackle. Are you overpaying for him? All those questions. But one thing that I don't think was debatable was what position was he better at? Certainly, defensive tackle was a more fitting position for him. He's a very good run stopper, and the Eagles can run the ball very well. I think Arik Armstead being out, Fletcher Cox might be out for the Eagles. Arik Armstead, Fletcher Cox at this stage of their career, Arik Armstead is a much bigger miss than Fletcher Cox, especially because the Eagles have very, very good depth at the defensive tackle position.
Right.
Milton, who played about 300 snaps this year, missed last week, might be better than Cox at this point. So Armstead missing would be a really, really big deal for the 49ers.
I just think it's kind of interesting how you learn about it. Like, Kyle Shanahan walks out to the podium like nothing's different. It's the same day. He goes, "It's injuries for today. Jordan Mason, hamstring, won't practice. Ray McLeod, rib, won't practice. Arik Armstead, foot, won't practice. Spencer Burford, knee limited," and just like moves right on. And someone's like, well, blah, 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 blah. Is Arik Armstead's foot something similar to what he dealt with last year? And then Kyle's like real nonchalant, like, I'm not really sure exactly. I know it's his foot, but I'm not sure how similar it is. It's like, yeah, man, blah, blah. It's like, no, this is a huge freaking deal. Are you kidding me? Follow-up question. Are you kidding me?
he he absolutely knows the extent of the injury. Of course, he's playing coy. It's really, and that the thing that sucks about this is because it came out of nowhere. We just have to kind of speculate and then really pay attention to the practice report over the next 2 days. This is what it comes down to. Does he practice at all in the next 2 days? If he's limited, we feel good about it. If he doesn't practice at all, you're probably thinking about he's not going to play. And then that's a really, really big deal, I think.
It is a big deal. I mean, down the stretch, these games matter. It's regular season seeding, but really, most likely, the Niners are going to be the 2 or the 3 seed. This the meaning of these games down the stretch in a lot of ways is attrition. Like, how many players are you going to bring with you to the playoffs? It's football, and so far the Niners have been really healthy. They lost a couple guys, got them back, but Talanoa Hufanga down. Arik Armstead, I don't know. How many guys are they going to end up losing before the playoffs? And they're an older team, and Armstead's an older player. This just seems like wear and tear. Although I don't know.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I hope that it's something completely unrelated to what he had, and he'll be fine. But you gotta wonder if it is related to last year's injury, and if so, how long does it linger? And not when I say linger, I'm not even talking about this year. Is this what's going to happen year after year now? Because this is the way that his body's responding. I don't know.